The planes of his stomach were pure muscle. His washboard abs were completely flat, except for the ridges that made up his 8-pack. Not a 6-pack, I'd counted. Ever since our kiss, and his ensuing rejection of said kiss, I hadn't been able to keep my eyes off him. Partly because he always managed to look strong and powerful enough to lug a metric-ton boulder on his back, and partly because I couldn't help but search for confirmation he felt the same electric tension I did. But he always refused to meet my gaze, just as he was doing now. His golden eyes were flicking around the room, sweeping across anything and everything but me. Eli, on the other hand, was staring at me, unabashedly, his mouth half open in surprise. "You, He cleared his throat and swallowed hard. "You look cold. Jasper and I can take care of Alaric. We'll move him to the roof. Head on back to your room." My cheeks flamed as I glanced down at the thin, silky nightgown I hadn't bothered to change out of when I'd snuck out of bed. It dipped low between my breasts, and the material was so thin that my headlights were fully on display. It was freezing in the Stone City, especially during winter, and I'd left my thick blanket on the sofa during my rush to check on Tess. Shivering, I crossed my arms over my chest, both to summon warmth and to hide my visible breasts. There were part of me wanted to stand there tall and practically dare Jasper to look. He'd been the one to kiss me after all. Surely I wasn't the only one who felt this, whatever it was between us. But now was not the time to focus on that. We needed to get Alaric back on the roof and the shifters back to bed before they decided to take a stroll into the scriptorium and see my research. "No, I want to help," I said. 3 pairs of hands are better than 2. 4, it's my room. If we need to get this guy out of here, then I should do what I can. Tess slid out of bed, only she was clad in a more sensible pair of flannel pajama pants. She grabbed a black hoodie from her dresser and threw it my way. "Here, this should keep you warm." After I shrugged the hoodie over my nightgown, the 4 of us gathered around the rippling statue. Alaric still hadn't yet fully morphed back into stone. It was as if he was stuck somewhere halfway between. His eyes were grey and hollow, but his fingers held a hint of pink, and his skin, it shimmered with some strange alien force. Magic. I frowned, feeling a sadness creep in around my heart. Once upon a time, Alaric had been just like the 2 shifters beside me, powerful and strong, and full of life. And now he was just this. "I don't think we should put him back outside. It's cold and windy out there," Tess said. "What if he's trying to get in where it's warm?" "I'd rather he not crash through my window again." "Tess," Eli said gently, "I appreciate your concern for him, but this is what we gargoyle shifters do when we're in our stone form. We perch on rooftops and keep watch. But he isn't fully in his stone form." She pointed at the shifter and frowned. "And he keeps trying to come back into this building. If he wants to be inside, shouldn't we just leave him be? I really don't want him to come back through the window again. It's kind of freaking me out, especially when he looks like this." I knew what she meant. He looked tortured. "Okay," I said. "We can put him in my room if that'll make you feel better." "No way," Eli and Jasper said in unison. "Why don't we just move him down the hall and into the main lobby of the scriptorium?" "Fine," Jasper said as he gripped the stone man's arm. "Eli, grab his other side." "No, wait," I said, heart hammering. They couldn't go in there. They'd see where I'd been camping out on the sofa, flicking through book after book for the past several hours. In fact, I'd spent many nights in the scriptorium lately. It had been far too long since we'd lost my sword in London, and none of the shifters seemed in a hurry to rescue it from Scotland Yard. But Eli ignored me, obeying Jasper. He wrapped his hands around the gargoyle's opposite arm, and together the 2 shifters lifted the stone statue from the floor. In moments they were out of the door, leaving me and Tess to stare after their retreating, hulking forms. "Shit, shit, shit," I whispered, my eyes burning hot. "What's going on?" Tess asked, frowning. I hadn't told her about my research either. "I've been looking into the police station. All my research is spread out in the scriptorium." With a deep breath, I flew from Tessa's room, hoping I could gather up the papers before the gargoyles would notice. But when I entered the main lobby of the scriptorium, with its lofted ceilings and walls carved with dozens of stone shelves, the 2 men looked up and frowned. "What's that for?" Jasper asked, pointing at the stack of books beside the sofa. I could have pretended none of it was mine, but my favourite mug perched on the top of the pile.